Have you ever prayed so hard for something only to feel like heaven is silent? Have you ever begged for a breakthrough, but the door slammed shut? Here's the truth no one tells you. God's no isn't rejection. It's protection. It's preparation for something even greater. Today we'll uncover why his refusals are often his greatest gifts. And by the end of this teaching, you'll see why every closed door is a gift from God to you.
Let's awaken the world to Jesus.
Hi, I'm Daniel Elijah. I've spent years helping people experience the transformative power of Jesus Christ. There's been moments in my life where God's no felt like the end, but it was those very moments that were setting me up for God's greatest blessings. I want to help you see God's no in a different light. Let's dive into this teaching together. All right, God's no protects you from harm. This is the first thing I want you to realize, that the no of God protects you from harm. What if the thing you've been begging for is the very thing that would hurt you the most? Think about that. The thing you're praying hardest for is hurting you potentially the most. Sometimes God's kindness is in saying no. And I want you to see the no in your life in a different light right now, because God is for you. In Proverbs 3, verse 5 and 6, it says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding." You see, God knows everything in your life. He sees what you can't see. He sees the dangers waiting for you. And so his no sometimes is the greatest protection from what could destroy you. And we, in our selfishness and in our immaturity and sometimes in our pride, we want things our way, especially in our culture where you get things quick, you get things the way you want them, you get it. You want food, you just go to a drive-thru. You don't have to prepare a big meal. You don't have to kill the animal. Things move quick for us in these days. It's not like the old days. So we often want what we want, and we don't like no. But when you trust in the Lord with all your heart, and you don't lean on your own understanding, you realize that his refusal to answer you in a situation is actually his goodness and his kindness toward you. Think of a parent refusing to tell their child not to touch a hot stove. What feels like restriction is protection. The child wants to touch the stove. I want to feel it. It's going to burn you, my love. That's what the parent will say to the child. So God is looking at you saying, my child, I love you. I'm telling you no to the answer to this prayer because I'm looking out for your best interest. An example would be like the Israelites who wanted to return to Egypt when things got hard, but God kept them moving forward to the promised land. His no was for their good. God's no is not punishment. It is protection from harm you cannot see. His no protects you. The second point of this teaching is to tell you God's no prepares you for something greater. Oftentimes we don't consider what this actually means, but have you considered that God's no might be preparing you to receive a yes you'll receive tomorrow? Today's no is preparing you for tomorrow's yes. It's actually a setup for your greater blessing, because all things are working together for your good. And this is Romans 8:28. We know that all things work together for good to those who love God. You trust him with all your understanding. You love him. He's working things out for your good. His no protects you from harm. His no prepares you for something greater. Every no is part of his plan to shape and prepare you for his best. Imagine asking for a job promotion, but God knows it would pull you away from your family or his purpose for your life. His no is refining you for greater opportunity. The Lord knows the end from the beginning. Jesus said, I am Alpha and I am the Omega, the beginning and the end. See, Joseph in Genesis 37 through 50, he faced countless no's, rejection, false accusations, imprisonment, but every closed door prepared Joseph to save an entire nation. A closed door today could be the foundation for your breakthrough tomorrow. Remember that as you listen to me. The third point is this: God's no draws you closer to him. And you might not understand how that is. But what if the unanswered prayer isn't rejection, but an invitation to trust him more deeply? His no is bringing you in closer to trust him. 2 Corinthians 12 9 says, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in your weakness." Paul begged for a thorn to be removed from his life, but God said no, not to harm him, but to deepen his reliance on the Lord. Paul prayed for the removal of this thorn in his life, but God kept saying no, because the no meant, you're going to rely on me, Paul. I've given you a lot of revelation. You're going to trust in me. I have a great plan for you. Trust me. Draw closer to me. When you feel like God isn't answering, it's an opportunity to lean into him, to seek him more deeply, to seek his presence and his provision. Think about a no in your life right now. This no is protecting you from harm. It's inviting you to trust God. And it's helping you to rely on his grace in a way that you wouldn't if it wasn't there. Everything's working together for your good. God's no isn't abandonment. It's an invitation to lean into his strength. So you got to do that in this hour that you're facing. I know it's difficult getting that no. I know it's difficult not having the answer. But if you're facing a no from God right now, remember this. It's not the end of the story. His plans are always good, even when they don't feel good in the moment. Trust that his no is leading you to something greater. If this teaching encouraged you, I'm asking you now to share it with someone who needs hope today. There's a lot of people out there who are experiencing no from God, and they need hope. They need clarity. Share this teaching with them. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more teachings and insights as we keep bringing them to you. And we want to bring you God's word to strengthen your walk with him. In the next teaching in this series, we want to dive into why isn't God blessing my plans? Why isn't God blessing your plans? That's going to be the next teaching. In it, we'll take the frustration of unmet expectations and discover how surrendering to God's open doors to his purpose for your life. And if you click in this playlist, you'll get to watch that as well. The last thing I want to share with you is your support helps us to continue to make this content, preach the gospel. We do a lot of things in beautiful Jesus Ministries. Your financial support will help us do much more. We have great products, books, different kinds of things you can purchase on the website. The link is in the description. Please support this ministry. Remember, when you give, it'll be given unto you, good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. God will return in your life. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next teaching.
Let's awaken the world to Jesus.